Snap says it will no longer promote Trump's account. The social media company's decision follows Twitter's moves to label Mr. Trump's posts inaccurate or as inciting violence. Snap said on Wednesday that it has stopped promoting the Snapchat account of President Trump after determining that his public comments off the site could incite violence, in another hardened stance by a social media company against the president. Snap, which makes the Snapchat app that is popular among young users, said Mr. Trump's account will remain intact but will not be promoted on its Discover homepage for news and stories. Mr. Trump's account was previously regularly featured on Discover, along with the accounts of other high-profile users like celebrities Kim Kardashian, the actor Kevin Hart, and New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Snap's move is part of a toughening position by social media companies against Mr. Trump's posts, which are often aggressive and contain threats and inaccuracies. Over the past week, Twitter has labeled several of the president's tweets for misinformation on voting and glorifying violence. In contrast, Facebook has not touched Mr. Trump's posts, arguing that they are newsworthy and should remain up in the name of free speech. Snap said it decided to stop highlighting Mr. Trump's account based on tweets he posted on Saturday, in which he threatened to send vicious dogs and ominous weapons into the protests that have erupted across the nation after the death of George Floyd, an African-American man who was killed in police custody in Minneapolis. The comments did not appear in Mr. Trump's Snapchat account. We will not amplify voices who incite racial violence and injustice by giving them free promotion on Discover, Rachel Rakusin, a Snap spokeswoman said. After Mr. Trump's comments, Evan Spiegel, Snap's chief executive, addressed them in a lengthy message to his employees. We will make it clear with our actions that there is no gray area when it comes to racism, violence, and injustice, Mr. Spiegel said in the memo that was posted on Snap's blog on Monday. We simply cannot promote accounts in America that are linked to people who incite racial violence, whether they do so on or off our platform, but the company would not remove accounts, he added. Mr. Spiegel said he reached his decision while thinking about the future of the country and his company's role in it. He mused in his letter to employees about the intentions of the Founding Fathers and reflected on the time he spent studying in South Africa. Mr. Trump has been embroiled in a confrontation with social media companies since Twitter began labeling some of his tweets last week. He immediately accused Twitter, his preferred social media platform, where he has more than 81 million followers, of stifling his speech and meddling in the November presidential election. In an apparent act of retaliation, Mr. Trump last Thursday signed an executive order intended to chip away at legal protections that internet companies rely on so that they are not liable for the content posted on their sites. Twitter and others have decried the executive order. Twitter has since pressed ahead in labeling more tweets by public officials, while Facebook has faced criticism for doing nothing about Mr. Trump's post. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's chief executive, grappled with a virtual walkout on Monday by hundreds of his employees over the issue, but has continued to defend his decision to leave Mr. Trump's messages untouched. Mr. Trump has a following of about 1.5 million people on Snapchat, according to Bloomberg. On the account, Mr. Trump currently features video and images of his photo op in front of St. John's Church in Washington, along with a screenshot of one of his tweets. Mr. Trump is regularly promoted on the Discover feature on Snapchat, alongside news partners and public figures including celebrities, politicians, and athletes. The feature is curated by people and algorithms and allows publishers and public figures to reach new Snap audiences. People have been spending more time on Snapchat since the coronavirus pandemic began. Snap reported in April that its number of daily active users has grown more rapidly than expected, reaching 229 million people. Communication between friends was 30% higher in the last week of March than in the last week of January, Snap said. Guys, gals, and everything between, don't forget to smash that like button, thumbs up, and do subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Make sure you hit the bell icon. You'll be notified each and every time I post new videos. And as always, peace and love, peace and love. For now, Mavakaga, out.